Coming up on today's edition of the Daily Clone, Matt Campbell talks about the impact of Farmageddon. Also, how do the Cyclones sleep and what is their plan for it? And then we'll close with some special teams talk. First, a message from Fareway.
Good morning, oranges. Top of the muffin to ya. Potato salad. We still on for lunch? Great. Sliced bread. You're the best thing I've seen since, well, you know. Oh, hello. Don't think I forgot about you. Friendly at Fareway. It's more than just a name.
Hello and welcome into the Daily Clone on a Monday in the Northwest Bank Studios, presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery. I grilled up a nice Fareway steak this weekend, and it was so delicious. They've got the best meat in the state. Go to Fareway Meat and Grocery for all of your tailgating and grill out needs. It is officially game week. I can't believe we made it. And game week means that it is time for one of my favorite rivalries in all of sports, the Farmageddon. This is the longest continuous played game in all of college football. Iowa State and K-State have played every year since 1917. And along with being the most continuous series in FBS, it's definitely one of the most even too. Iowa State owns a winning record at 54-50-4. That is pretty back and forth. Matt Campbell thinks very, very highly of the rivalry.
When there's respect, especially within a rivalry, you're just grateful to be a part of something like that. You know, we're really fortunate here that we have been able to get our program to a place where we can play really meaningful rivalry games, and this certainly is one of them. Traditionally, what K-State has done in this conference, the type of opponent they are, the success that they've had, when you get the opportunity to measure yourself as a football program and where you are and where you're continuing to grow forward, those are powerful things, and I think that it's been a really awesome opportunity to be that now going in my 10th year to be a part of this game, and certainly this opportunity. So again, we don't take this for granted. We know this is what makes college football really special.
Rocco Becht had never heard of the rivalry before moving to Iowa, but after 2 wins in the series, he's got some fond memories.
I think there's the energy, the atmosphere that we've been able to see, whether that was at K-State 2 years ago, even though it was snowing, there's still so much people out there cheering on their teams. And then last year, when it was 4 degrees and everybody was here, we had everybody rushed the field. It's the amount of people that have been able to show up for those games. That rivalry has really shown me how great it is for these fans and the both programs. So I'm excited to get a third one in the rounds.
This game has so much going into it. Of course, there's all of the normal game week prepping for a big rival like K-State, and that's all coming off of the buildup of fall camp and how grueling that can be. You combine all of that, and then you factor in that Iowa State is playing across the pond 6 hours ahead of schedule, and they've got to manage how to do that from a sleep perspective, from a nutrition perspective. Matt Campbell and Gabe Burkle have more on their sleep plan and, more importantly, sleep execution.
That started for me when we knew we were playing for this game. Before we even laid kind of out, how are we going to practice in spring ball? How are we going to practice in fall camp? Man, what are the things that you have to talk about in nutrition and sleep and all those things? And again, we're dealing with 18 to 22-year-old kids. Like, are we really driving those things home? Man, I hope so. But if you want to have the ability, at least we found the answers. Now you got to choose to make the right decisions and follow the right guidelines to give yourself the best chance and to handle it both on the front end and certainly then equally on the back end of it. So I think all of it has gone into planning, the how to. But again, doing it and executing it are two different things. I think we have a really good plan. I'm really proud of what the work that so many people did behind the scenes to prepare for it. But, the execution of it is really where you'll find success. And again, time will tell.
Something that I learned was banking sleep. So kind of sleeping more than 8 hours so you can have that banked sleep, because obviously everyone might not sleep as great on the plane or over in Ireland, different atmospheres. So banking that sleep and getting more than 8 hours every night, that's what I've been that was the main focus for me, especially this week, next week, and all that stuff. So yeah.
We've gone in depth on pretty much every position group in fall camp so far on the Daily Clone, but we didn't talk about the special teams yet. Most of the unit looks the exact same as last year. Kyle Conradi is still the place kicker. Jace Gilbert is the kickoff guy. Tyler Perkins returns as the punter, as well as Drew Clausen as the short and long snapper. The return game might look a little different, but for Campbell, all things considered, he expects the specialists to look a lot like 2024, and for him, that's a good thing.
I would hope it's the same. I mean, those guys were tremendous a year ago. And I mean, I think statistically, our punter is the best in school history. Statistically, you know, you had a phenomenal place kicker, and I thought Jace Gilbert was almost 74% touchback last year in terms of his kickoff rate. So I think our expectation of that group would be very high internally, and I thought those guys have all performed that way so far through fall camp. And what I love about all three of those guys, I mean, they're really motivated. They're all motivated to be the best. I think they all have elite traits and talent. And, you know, we're going to need those guys to be at their best for us to be the best team, especially early on.
The return game will definitely look different without Jalen Knoll. Matt Campbell talks about some potential replacements for Knoll in the return game.
Abu Sama did it in high school. You know, Aiden Flora did it in high school. You know, I think Xavier Townsend was terrific at it at Central Florida from the punt return game. You know, you said it, you know, and kind of really those guys have had those same opportunities. So, you know, I think we feel very good about it. But, you know, until you get out there in the lights, until Xavier gets the opportunity to do that at times with our return game, just communication, I think all those things, certainly when you don't have a guy like Jalen Knoll back there who was, had done it for 3 years, you know, and a guy that you felt really confident in. You know, even if you look at Jalen's progression, you know, he was like a solid punt returner as a sophomore. He was good as a junior, and he was really special as a senior. So, you know, I think those are things that are a little bit progression, but it's huge to have a guy like Xavier that's done that, has been truly successful at it. But I think putting that all together under how we do it, you know, we'll find out a lot more about ourselves here soon.
And finally, we close with a little Cyclone in the NFL action. The Houston Texans have traded John Mechie to Philadelphia. Why is that important? Well, it opens up more opportunities. And then we close with some Cyclones in the NFL action. The Houston Texans have traded wide receiver John Mechie to Philadelphia. And typically that wouldn't be a headline on a college sports show in the middle of Iowa, but Mechie's trade opens up the door for more snaps for Jaden Higgins, Jalen Knoll, and Xavier Hutchinson. Very, very cool to see maybe even more possibilities of them being on the field together as that room is being cleared out for Nico Collins and a bunch of Cyclones. Pretty dang cool. We have a full week of content planned for you here on the Daily Clone. I'm recording this on Sunday because on Monday, I'm going to be in the air for Dublin. We land Tuesday morning, so I'm not going to have a Tuesday show, but I'll make up for it with a Friday show. So I'm going to have the Daily Clone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on the ground in Dublin. I cannot wait to bring it to you. And then, of course, on Saturday, we've got our game coverage. Look for highlights, post-game, all of that stuff on the Cyclone Fanatic YouTube page, cyclonefanatic.com, and wherever else you consume your CF content. Thank you for supporting us. Thanks to Fareway Meat and Grocery for presenting this Daily Clone here on a Monday in the Northwest Bank Studios.